In Ohio's 5-year strategic plan for education, Each Child, Our Future, the concept of the whole child is front and center. While developing the plan, we heard time and time again across the state that a great education is only possible if we, as a community, collaborate to meet the needs of the whole child. In fact, in the strategic plan, Strategy 7 focuses on just that, meeting the needs of the whole child. But what does that really mean, meeting the needs of the whole child? It means that for a child to succeed in school, in learning, that child can't have an empty stomach. That child can't be physically sick or suffering from mental trauma. That child can't be bullied. That child can't feel unsafe. That child can't feel disconnected from adults or not cared about by their community. Schools have always been places that engage in more than just academic learning. A school is a social system, people interacting with each other, and people taking care of each other, and people taking care of children. If a child's basic needs aren't addressed, then our efforts to ensure a student gains the academic knowledge and skills they need to succeed can't be effective. And while schools have always understood the concept of meeting the needs of the whole child, we heard over and over the need for a common language and common understanding of what taking care of the whole child really means. And right now, meeting the needs of the whole child is more important than ever. The COVID-19 pandemic has been hard on Ohio citizens, but in particular on Ohio's children. Access to healthy food, physical and mental health care, remote learning, and financial support have all been impacted. Social activities vital to the healthy development of young people have shifted and in many cases disappeared completely. With many schools operating remotely or in a remote in-person blended schedule, the safety nets that our education system usually is able to provide become drastically less accessible. All students, especially those most vulnerable, need support and guidance as they work to cope with the effects of the pandemic. That's why I am so pleased to announce the release of Ohio's Whole Child Framework, carefully crafted over a 10-month period by Ohio educators, counselors, and content experts in various fields, including mental and behavioral health, family engagement, social emotional learning, child nutrition, and services for vulnerable youth. The framework provides a blueprint to address the needs most central to a child's holistic development. A whole child approach to education is defined primarily by policies and practices, what we do and how we support students in school. The framework can help districts and schools think about their policies and practices and the extent to which they create the conditions for students to learn, grow, and succeed. But it's also dependent on partnerships, another key idea from Each Child, Our Future. We know that creating a great future for each child and for every community in our state requires that we all work together. Parents, families, caregivers, they're a child's first teachers and the education community's most trusted partners. The framework calls out parent and family engagement specifically. Other partners are also tremendously important. I often say supporting children is everyone's business, and meeting the needs of the whole child is what that's all about. Engaged partners include healthcare providers, mental health providers, social service organizations, after-school programs, local nonprofits, businesses, faith-based organizations, and many other service providers. Many of them have, as part of their own missions, serving children as a fundamental focal point. Schools serve the essential role in connecting with students on a regular basis, which makes them uniquely positioned to facilitate partners to better reach children. The Whole Child Framework helps to connect and align all this great work. The other key connection to Each Child, Our Future relates to equity. The strategic plan recognizes that a focus on equity for each student is vital for success, and yet it is the most difficult to achieve, as it looks, sounds, and feels different for each child. Equity requires personalization, recognizing each student's assets and talents, and giving each student the resources and supports needed at the proper time to ensure growth and success. The Whole Child Framework gives us another tool to guide the work toward making equity in our education system a reality for all students across Ohio. What is most exciting is that we've already been seeing many districts and schools implementing various aspects of the Whole Child Framework. For example, some schools have created school-based health clinics. Some have incorporated social emotional learning into each classroom experience. and many have utilized positive behavioral interventions and supports to enhance and improve school climate and culture. We'll be featuring examples of best practices from across the state to show people the way and help inspire more activity. I invite you to visit our website at education.ohio.gov/wholechild to view the Whole Child Framework for yourself. There you will find a number of resources and guides to help you on your journey to using the framework and configuring it to meet the needs of your local education community. In addition, we'll also be hosting periodic live and pre-recorded virtual webinars to review the elements of the framework and highlight some great examples from schools and districts across Ohio. The Whole Child Framework is an important bridge between schools, families, and communities. We're excited for the release of the framework itself, but it's just the beginning. I look forward to seeing how more schools and districts customize the framework and use it to create the conditions that support the success of their local learners. As always, feel free to contact us with any questions or suggestions you may have on implementation or ideas for improvement. And we'll be providing more content in the near future. And as always, thank you for what you do each and every day for Ohio's children.